Welcome to day 32 of your acceleration training. Today we're going to talk about the weekly game. Now, if you remember me talking about, I was part of the SWAT team for many years. And as part of the SWAT team, I got to do a lot of really cool stuff. And I got asked more often than not, like, what makes the SWAT team elite? What makes them special? What makes them be the ones that the cops call when there's a problem? Well, there's a couple different things. Sure, we had the cool weapons and the cool vehicles and all the cool equipment and gear. Yes. But more than anything, it was our ability to make adjustments. Now, let me explain to you. Every single time we went on an operation, whether it was a takeoff in a parking lot, whether it was a search warrant, whether it was a drug arrest, whether it was a high-risk stop on a felony subject, it didn't matter. Every single operation that we went on, we filled out something called an operations plan. And this operation plan was very specific. What's our target? What is the mission? What role does everyone play inside of it? What's our backup plan in case the primary plan doesn't work? Funny, huh? Well, we both know that most of the time, the primary plan doesn't work. And so we would fill this thing out, right? Let's say it was my operation. I would fill this thing out, and then I would present it to the team. I'd be like, okay, we're going after Joe Bad Guy number 1. This is where he lives. This is his vehicle. These are his associates. Here's his phone number. Here's his criminal history. Here's the things we need to be careful for. Here's our plan of attack. He works at ABC Co. We're going to go surround ABC Co. We're going to have 3 units in the front, 2 in the back. We're going to have our snipers on their truck, and we're going to call him out. It's going to be a surrounding call. Joe, you're doing this. Mark, you're doing this. Seth, you're doing that. And we'd be very specific, right? Because at the end of it, we'd do what was called a brief back. So I would then go, Seth, what is your job? Mark, what is your job? John, what is your job? And they would repeat it back to me, right? That would allow me to know with clarity that they knew what the mission was and what their role inside that mission was. And then we would go execute the mission, right? The operation. At the end of it, we'd all gather together, either on scene or we'd go somewhere else. We'd gather together and we'd do a brief back. Okay, what happened? Or excuse me, a debrief. What happened? Well, we showed up and there were too many cars in the parking lot, so we couldn't get close enough. Or there were too many people in the building, we picked the wrong time of day. Or, he wasn't there and we didn't have eyes on him and we should have eyes on him beforehand, right? Whatever it was that went right and went wrong, we're digesting it, we're discussing it, because we can make adjustments based off of that, right? Enough about the feelings. Nobody cares about the feelings. What we care about is the facts. The facts are what's going to set us free. The facts are what's going to get us results. So how is it that we make you elite? So there's a few different steps. Number 1, make a plan. Just like we did with our operations plan, you have to make a plan. Regardless if we're talking about your body, your being, your balance, or your business, if you don't have a plan, you will fail. Let me repeat that. If you don't have a plan, you will fail. So number 1 is always have a plan. Number 2 is execute the plan, right? You created it. It doesn't have to be perfect, and odds are it's not, and that's okay, but go execute the plan, right? Whatever it was you said you're going to do, go execute on it. You said you're going to go find 5 new customers this week. Go execute the plan, whatever plan you had to do that. And then at the end of the week, recap the plan. Get your team together. Hey, what worked and what didn't work? Hey, I went to go to realtors and we got 2 customers off that. That was great. Hey, I went to go knock doors, got 1 customer off that. Hey, that was great. Hey, I went to go try and connect with other contractors. We didn't get anything off that. Okay, that didn't work, right? You're recapping the plan. What adjustments then do you need to make? Okay, next week, here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to do it, right? And then, you guessed it, redeploy. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. And that's how we get better. You want to know how to get your sales team better? That's right. Make a plan, execute the plan, review the plan, make adjustments, redeploy, right? Success leaves clues, and that's what we want you to focus on. So when we talk about your weekly targets, remember, they have to be specific and measurable. What's our one thing that we're going to get done no matter what? If you committed to losing 15 pounds and that requires you to have a green drink in the morning and go for a 5-mile run in the afternoon, that's your target. What are you going to do to make sure that that gets done, right? So during this debrief, what are we talking about? We're talking about what was the one thing that we committed to this week? Like we mentioned earlier, right? Well, the one thing. What is the one thing? Did you accomplish it? Yes or no? And then why or why not? Ultimately, when we get clear on top of those things, we can start to look at the lessons, right? What were the lessons we learned? We learned that we should have got started earlier. We learned that I need a meal prep. We learned that I need to make sure that whatever it is, right? What lessons did you learn? And then What was your Core 4 score? So every single week we're looking across the board and we're saying, are we leveraging the tools that we have to get the success that we want? And then based off your experience and what you learned, you might have to adjust those targets. 15 pounds might not be realistic for you, and that's okay. Get a target that's going to make you stretch, that's going to make you uncomfortable, but you believe you can hit, and it might be 10 pounds. And then go after it. Quit making excuses. Quit pretending that you can't do it, and just go do it. All right, now it's time for your assignment. We're going to talk about a couple of things. Number one is I want you to write down the top 3 lessons that you've learned over the last 5 weeks that we've been together, right? The top 3 lessons. And then number 1, the biggest course correction that you've seen that you've had to make in your life based off of what you were doing 5 weeks ago. Get those 2 things, and then a 2-minute video inside of the group sharing your answers. You know what time it is. It's time to get after it. 3, 2, 1. Off you go.